everybody, this is Peggy for Cropstop.com, and today I'd like to show you how to use your Cri Kits embossing tool. I don't know if you've checked these out yet. We have these now at Cropstop, and you're going to use the same holder. This is their newer embossing tool. It's got a really sharp point for fine embossing, and it's got a fatter point on this end that you can use for thicker embossing. The really cool thing is that now we carry at Cropstop the mats that go along with this. So this is used the same way as their pens. There's magnetic in here, so I will simply just put this in here and it won't come out. So that's the little tool we're going to use. What I have to start with are their mats. Now there are two different kind of mats that they offer. This one is your 12 by 12 single-sided adhesive embossing mat, and they also offer one. Let me bring this in here for you. It's going to be a little glare on there, I'm sure. This is just your embossing mat. There's quite a bit of difference, so let me show you what those are. Let's start with your 12 by 12 single-sided adhesive embossing mat. This is it right here. This is kind of a, felty kind of a feeling, and it's got one side of it is very sticky. Now, what you're going to do is to get an old crummy mat that's about used up, or hopefully is used up, for your Cricut machine. The other exciting thing about this embossing mat, you can use it with a pazzle. So if you have pazzle machines, you all know what I'm talking about there. You can also use that on your mats, doing it the same way. I have both, but I'm going to be using my Cricut tonight to show you this mat. It's pretty used up and crummy. And when you use the single mat, you're going to hear it on here, and I'll show you how to do that. But you will have to use blue painter's tape, and I think there's also a green one out there now. I can't think of the name of it. But when you're going to put your metal on there, or your vellum, vellum is beautiful when you do it on here. You're simply going to take your painter's tape, and you will tape down your little edges right on the mat. And that'll hold it in place. So let me real quick show you how you're going to actually adhere your mat onto your mat for your Cricut. Mine still has a little sticky there. You don't want to do the whole thing at once. I've tried that before, and you end up with big wrinkles, and you will not be a happy camper. Let me see if I can get my fingernails started here. It is really sticky, so be careful. So the best way to do that is not to get your fingers stuck on it like I am. You're just going to pull back a little bit at a time to get yourself started. Alright, let's see if I can do this without messing her up. Okay, I knew I went off camera there for a minute. Alright, I'm going to bring this closer to me, and I think I need to stand up for this. I'm going to try and line it up, as you know, in your corners, right here and here. So in this corner we're going to start, then we'll go over to this corner. And it's very sticky, so make sure you get it where you want it the first time, because you'll be upset if you don't. And then I'm just going to run my finger across there. That's started. Then the way I do it is I roll it back over, pull my paper, and then I just start rolling it down. I've got my Cropstop sign stuck in there. Pull it back, rub it, flip it back, pull some more, let it just kind of fall right in place, rub it. You know, that does feel really nice. That kind of reminds me of that stuff when you go to the real expensive jewelry stores and they have all their diamonds laying on there. I know. What that has to do with this, I don't know, but it just kind of reminded me of that. Let her roll down. This is going on very nicely. Alright, let me finish this up, and I'll show you where to go from there. Alright, now I've gone ahead and I've totally put that on there, all the way around my mat. Now this mat is dedicated just for embossing, and I will not be removing that piece off there. That's why I use an old mat that's pretty used up for regular Cricut cutting, because now this is my designated embossing mat for my metal. And again, let me just tell you, when you put your metal on there, and we're going to do this over the Cricut in just a second, you're going to use a little piece of painter's tape to hold your corners down, so obviously when you're cutting, it doesn't go moving around, just like that. Of course, I'll put some more on there. The other tip that I will give you is I don't cut out my metal on here. I cut it out by hand, which I'll show you. When you start to cut, we're not going to start right at the tip. That's why it's okay to put my tape there. So this is my one single mat that's dedicated just for embossing. Now the other one that they offer is the embossing mat that has the adhesive on it. And again, you can use this on both your Cricut and your Pazzle machine. Now this is what this mat looks like. I got a little fuzzy on there somewhere. Where these white strips are, that's my adhesive. And this is the same black felty feeling that I have on my other one. So what they recommend at Cricuts is that you only remove a portion of your sticky tape off of here where the white strips are so that you can save your mat, obviously, because as you can see, I don't know if the camera gets my whole arm, but my whole arm is laying on there. That would be taking away the sticky here, so there's no sense to do that. So that's on this side. This is the side we're going to do it exactly like I did the other mat. You're simply going to peel back a section. If I can get my fingernail in there again. Well, I need fingernails, that's the problem. And it's the same sticky, sticky, sticky. So you want to do it exactly the same way. And so I've showed you how that's done once. Here's what I did. And I stuck the, also always keep your plastic mat that comes with your Cricut cutting mats because those are protecting it. Mine's over on the other side of the room, so I just threw this on there. Now here's what I did. I took off too much to start with, I'll be honest with you. I would have rather done a 6x6 square because hardly ever will I emboss something this big. But it's done, so that's the way it is. But what I've done is this part here, let me bring one back in to show you, maybe that'll help. Can you see where on this one now I have gray and black, gray and black? That's where my white sticky tape was. This is what's now going to hold my metal. Let me just give you an example of that. Now you're going to wonder, well, what's the difference? Which one should I get, Peggy? Well, I don't know which one you're going to like the best. I, so far, am liking the one with the tape already on there. And all I'm going to have to do here is to put my tape down. I don't have to use the painter's tape, and it's on there. I don't know if the camera can pick up these little creases and bumps in the metal. That does not matter, because once I emboss, I have these neat little paper stumps that they also offer at Crop Stop, where I can go in and smooth that out of there, so that's not going to be a problem. So see, I didn't have to bother with the painter's tape. Now, I do have painter's tape on this particular one, and I want to show you also how to get that off there, because I wanted to keep this part covered to keep my arms off of it. So, let me take this over to the Cricut machine and show you how we can emboss. Okay, now what we're going to do is, again, we're going to use the sharp end, and there's also the blunt end, but I want to use the sharp end. You simply slide it in there, magnetic, so it's not going to come out. You're going to have to remove your blade. I use this nice little hole right here to hold my blade, so then I don't have to worry about it. We're going to go ahead and insert our holder with our embossing pin in there. Some important things to remember. You're going to have your speed, which we'll go over here and look at the speed. You're going to do your speed. I don't know if you can see real close up, but on your little LED, there are little brackets or little bars, we'll call them. And your speed, you want 2 bars. And on your pressure, you want 3 bars. That's going to give us the exact pressure and speed that we need, because what I'm going to be using is the 10-second Studio Metal, which works absolutely awesome. So that's what we're going to use. So remember, you've got to have this set the proper way. And then I don't have to worry about anything on a blade, because your little stylus inside there, remember on our blade we have to have it on a certain number. That won't matter on this end because obviously it's already there. But those 2 numbers are very important. I've chosen to use the mat that has the sticky already on it. If you'll recall, there's the other mat, and it's your choice. It's whatever you like. The other one, you would use the blue painter's tape to hold it on. And I kind of write myself a little note on my paper to remember 2 is the speed, 3 is the pressure for the sharp point embossing pin. And I've just lightly pressed this down. It sticks really nice. We're going to go ahead and load our paper. Now the cartridge I'm using is Accent Essentials, and I'm just going to use one of the discs that kind of looks like a flower. I've chosen 2 inches. What I want to do is to deboss and emboss. So the first one we're going to deboss. So I've chose 2 inches, got my number 9 button, and we're just going to press cut. It is really embossing really nicely in there. I should say debossing maybe. This 10-second Studio Metal comes in so many colors, but I picked the hot pink one because I thought it'd be nice on the video. You'd be able to see it real nice. Alright, it's finished. we're just going to unload. Let me bring this up close to the camera. Hopefully I won't get too bad of a glare on there. Hopefully you can see that. You see right here it's debossed. It's pushed into the pink. So the reason I'm calling it debossed is I can't really sand that to make it highlight any. So when you're removing this, I would normally have it on a flat surface, but I've done this enough times. Let me see if I can move this where the camera can see. Is that a little bit better for you? Okay. Now, all you're going to do is kind of wiggle your metal, because obviously we don't want to bend it all up. If you just pull away from you and wiggle up, it comes right off of there. So there's our image. Now to deboss it, I'm simply going to flip it over, because I want my embossing pen to push through the silver so that I can then sand that pink. And I'll do the same thing, just lightly press it. And I'm not a bit concerned about all these little wrinkles that you see in there, because I can use my stylus, I can use my paper stump. You can use little rollers, all kinds of little things to get that out of there. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to stick that right back in there. We're going to load it. I'm using everything exactly the same, so all I have to do on my Cricut is hit repeat last. And here we go. Alrighty, now let's just unload. Now let me do this. Let me close up my Cricut and show you what we're going to do next. Now remember again, when you're taking your metal off, I just get a little start on it and I just kind of pull towards me and lift, and that way I'm not going to pull out what I just embossed. We'll move our mat out of the way here. Hopefully it won't slide on the floor. Whoops, there it goes. Okie dokie then. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it just yet. I know there's quite a glare there with the metal, but here's where I just embossed it. I'm simply going to bring in one of those little sanding blocks. Very lightly go around. Oh yeah, that's looking really nice. I just love dimension, and when you use this, it is beauteous. Let me bring this in and show you. Can you see that? Here's what I've actually done to make it a bit easier for you. I've gone ahead, I've gone ahead and I've sanded that, and then I took my tonic scissors, which you can also get at Crop Stop, and I cut it out. Now some folks do cut their metal on their Cricut. The 10-second Studios, I do that, but I didn't have another blade available, so I just cut it. It was just as easy to do it with these. So there's that one. And then this is the other version where I'm debossed it. I personally like this one because I like the accent of having the two colors. I don't have a finished project for you, but I do want to show you something that I've done, and it's made me decide now I want to do this. This is just one that I've cut out again on the Cricut, some flowers, and this is a pretty cool little card. You see these a lot, I'm sure. There's my little sentiment on the inside of my flower pot. So I've decided I'm going to go back and make some more of these flowers. Wait till you see. Is that going to be too stinking cute? I'm going to put little metal flowers on there. And then, after I send this to the person I'm going to send it to, who I know scrapbooks, they can put this right in their scrapbook as an embellishment. Well, there you have it. You can emboss and deboss with your new Cricut embossing tool and your embossing mats. Be sure when you get your mats to go slow. Don't try to rush through it, and your mat will go on there beautifully. It will last you a very, very long time. Well, that's it for Peggy and CropStop.com. Don't forget to check it out. They've got all these in stock. Have a great day. Bye.